Welcome to Let's Talk Jonesboro. Today our guest is Sherry Eskridge, and she is the Student Engagement and Outreach Librarian at Arkansas State University's Dean B. Ellis Library. Welcome, Sherry.
Glad to be here.
Well, thank you. Hey, I know April is National Poetry Month.
Yes, it is.
Tell me what is going to happen during Arkansas State's celebration of National Poetry Month. I know you have some big days planned, and you've got more probably that's not finished planning yet.
Yes.
But tell me what some of the concrete things that you know are going to happen.
Well, to get it started, we have sent out some requests on social media. We've sent out a few emails asking for our on-campus and our off-campus community to submit their favorite poems, or they can write their own poem and submit them to us. And we will select some of those poems and post them on our social media. So that's how we're going to get started. And as we move into the first week in April, we will start posting some of those poems for others to see on social media.
Is this for students only of
No.
Arkansas State, or is
No.
it anyone in the community?
Anyone in the community can send us a poem.
Very
We'll
nice.
accept any of the poems that come in.
What makes a poet?
A poet can be anyone. All you have to do is think about it and write it.
And we have some really good poets in Jonesboro.
Well, I know that one of our professors is a published poet, and I'm hoping that we can get him to come out and speak during one of our events.
You know, Sherry, the talk these days is with cell phones and shortened initials for words. I can LOL, I can
Yes.
CUL8,
Yes.
and I hear that young people aren't as good writers as they used to be. Is that true?
Well, some people say that's true because everything is shorthanded, or they send a text. And poetry, I feel, is a way to get the students to be more engaged and go back to being a writer and focus more on their writing so that they can be more creative.
They're also better informed and educated and worldly than we were in my younger generation, so they probably have a lot of thoughts and creativity that
Yes, they
should
do.
be respected.
And they think fast.
They think fast.
And they want everything right now.
And
No waiting.
no waiting. That is funny. That is funny. Well, can you tell us about any of your favorite poets? And you don't have to name names, but can you tell me some examples of the ways that they think and some concepts you've seen in poetry?
Kind of depends on the poet and what kind of poetry they're writing. Because it can be abstract, it can be fun, it can be humorous. So me knowing different people that write, it just kind of depends on what their focus is.
Let's see.
So
Do you have a favorite poet?
I do. I have several, but I would have to say one of mine is Maya Angelou.
Maya Angelou.
And
She knows why the cage birds sing.
Phenomenal woman.
Phenomenal woman.
Yes, it's one of my favorites. And Henry Dumas is the other poet that I like.
In Poetry Month, is your goal to read poetry, to write poetry, or just to inspire?
We're going to do a little bit of all of it. I personally will not be writing it, but we do have some talented faculty members and staff members that will be available to assist the students, staff or faculty, if they're interested in writing. Like I said, on one of the events that we'll have in the library, they can actually come and they can actually sit down and they can write a poem if they need guidance. We have some staff and faculty members from the Writing Center that will be glad to help them and assist them in writing their poems. So you can come in and not only pick up a poem, but you can also write one and turn it in as a submission to enter into one of our poetry contests, because we'll have several contests.
Now, have you had this program before, or is this
This will be the
year?
first.
Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Is it your baby?
It's my baby.
That's so fabulous. What made you decide to do it?
Well, actually, I'm an outreach librarian, so I was looking at some of my literature from ALA, American Libraries Association, and something came across about national poetry. And I have a family member that I've been kind of following some of their poetry. And so I got really inspired, and I thought, I don't know much about poetry, but this will be a good time to look into it, to see what it's about. So right now it's a passion of mine to find out where it goes from here. So I'm interested in knowing how to write a poem correctly and be able to format it correctly. So
Wait, now wait a minute. You just told me there's no rules.
there are a few rules. Well, the only rule we had was that it needed to be, the content needed to be rated G or PG.
Okay.
And we asked that the poems be 25 lines or less. Now, if they go over a bit, we're not going to throw them out.
Now, if you've got a big ending, you might need an extra line, right?
So since we may have some children in the area, say their parents or some of the students have parents and they bring them into the library, we ask for rated G or PG.
Yes.
So
We can handle it. And the city, we're going to put that on our Facebook page when Sherry chooses some winners. We're going to
and we
share
appreciate that
them.
very much.
Well, it's a fun thing to do, and I think it will enlighten our world. Sometimes poetry gets lost in the days with fast internet and everybody has a song that may rhyme, but it may not be poetry.
Which is true.
But some may be poetic. But I think poetry is something that's probably sometimes overlooked, and I'm glad that you're shining a light on it and bringing it to Jonesboro and to Arkansas State University.
And you said music, and so one of the things that I'm interested in doing with the poetry is you can take your phone or your iPod and shuffle your music, and the first phrase that comes on with the first song that comes up, you start your poem with that.
Really?
So that's one of the activities that we're planning to do.
I'm going to try that.
We're going to also do a rhyming poem where you can write a poem rhyming. We'll also do some prompted poems where we'll start with the phrase, and one of the other ones that I have is take your first name and write a poem with every letter in your first name.
Oh,
So those are some of the activities that we're planning to do
interesting.
during the month of April.
So tell me any other events that you have planned.
On April the 15th at 2:00 p.m., Mayor Harold Perrin will come out to Arkansas State Dean Ellis Library to issue a proclamation for National Poetry Month, and we're very excited about that.
Well, Sherry, you have started something that I hope becomes a long tradition at Arkansas State University.
I hope it does as well.
Is there anything else that you want to tell us about the poetry events going on at Arkansas State?
The only thing I like to say is I hope we have a good turnout, especially on April the 15th at 2:00 p.m. Since our mayor will be present.
I can tell you
we
some
would
of us
like
from the
to
city will
have-
be there.
Would like to have some of our community there as well, because this is not just for our students and staff and faculty at Arkansas State, but it's also open to the community. So we would love to receive some poems from those
Very
within our
nice.
community as well.
That would be wonderful, because I know we've got a lot of creative people and of all ages who would do a really good job of,
I agree.
if they sat down and spent a little time thinking about this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to enter, Sherry.
And we have some people that's willing they're going to be having some workshops, and they're willing to help. If you've never written a poem, they'll be glad to get you started. They won't write it for you,
Well,
but they will get you started and give you any tips to get you started.
I will need some help for sure.
Oh, that's okay.
That's okay.
We have some people in place that will help you
That's
with that.
friendly. So I'm sure you have some partners who are helping participate in the
Yes.
Poetry Month.
Yes. The Writing Center, the English Student Club,
Okay.
the Concurrent Enrollment Department is also assisting us with this National Poetry Month as well.
Very nice. Now, tell me, in your job as outreach librarian, tell me some more about your role.
Well, as student engagement and outreach librarian, uh, as one would say, I guess I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I help wherever I'm needed. I try to help when there's any student events, preview days, anything of that nature, to go out and promote the services and resources that we have at the Arkansas State Library. For those that are not aware of the services and resources that we have. So we try to go to most events on campus, or if there's something off campus that we need to go to spread the word about our resources and services, that's what I do.
Again, the question is the library for students specifically and uniquely, or can members of the community?
The members of the community can come. They can also fill out a courtesy card to check out books, and they can check out materials
They
there
can
as
become
well.
members of the university
Yes.
library.
Yes, they sure can.
I think a lot of people probably don't know that.
But they sure can. The only problem, I guess, is them finding a place to park. We do have some visitors parking spaces, not many, but we do have some. So we still, welcome them out there. Usually, I guess, about after 7 p.m., parking is open.
What are the library hours?
Right now, we open at 7 in the morning, Monday through Thursday, well, actually through Friday. Our hours are a little bit different. We're open till 1 o'clock in the morning,
Wow.
Monday through Thursday.
Because students like to study late.
Some of them do because they work.
They work.
And our hours are a little different on Friday. We open 7, close at 6. Saturday, we're open at 2 and close at 6. And then on Sunday, we open at 12 and we close at 1 in the morning.
How will your offerings be different than the public library? Maybe you don't have a children's section, or?
We actually do have a section. We have a juvenile collection on the
right?
3rd floor. We do. It's not real big because we have education majors. So we do
Sure.
have an area for
I
them
see.
to use to help with their papers and things.
Where on campus is the library for those who didn't go to Arkansas State?
We're located right next to the Communication and Education Building, next to the railroad tracks,
Very nice.
and in between hypas.
And so that's why you say the parking is limited.
Right, in the
some
area where
cases.
we're located, yes.
Right, but you can park in the deck and walk around campus and
You
enjoy
can.
the campus. And
You sure
'cause it's a
can.
beautiful campus, and
It is.
those of us who didn't graduate from Arkansas State regret the error.
Well, okay.
But
You still can come to visit.
I will still come to visit.
That's
That's
true.
very nice. That's a very nice thing. So we've learned a little bit about poetry thanks to Sherry Eskridge, and we look forward to National Poetry Month in April. We look forward to delivering a proclamation to Arkansas State's Library for its Poetry Month, and the Poetry Slam and other events that are going to happen.
Yes.
Thank you, Sherry, for taking the time to visit with us on
I
Let's Talk.
appreciate you all having me here.
Thank you.